Okay. So we talk about the digestive system first, and then we move to the reproductive system. Okay, just let me share my screen first. Okay. Now the digestive system of cockroach. Okay, so let's check his guts. Okay. Now the cockroach, like us, right, has a proper alimentary canal extending from mouth to anus, and has got associated glands, right? So increasingly, the complexity of the systems are going to surface in front of us. We also have an alimentary canal and associated glands. The cockroach also has one. Now, the alimentary canal in cockroach starts, it has got three parts: the foregut, the midgut, and the hindgut. Three sections, right? Where the alimentary canal description is there in the NCERT. At a later time, when you have time right now, ये छोटा सा diagram अगर बना सकते हैं ना वहां पर, तो थोड़ा सा help हो जाएगा आपको. Okay, maybe later, not now. So foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Now foregut, if you can see the diagram, starts with the mouth here, right? लेकिन mouth के बिल्कुल थोड़ा आगे is a pre-oral cavity. Pre matlab it starts a little earlier than that, and that pre-oral cavity is surrounded by the mouth parts. So जो mouth है उसके आसपास यहाँ mouth parts रहेंगे. We have studied 4 mouth parts: the labrum, labium, mandible, and maxilla. And what projects in the pre-oral cavity is the hypopharynx, okay, which is acting like a tongue-like structure. The mouth will lead to a tubular structure called as the pharynx. Pharynx will lead to esophagus. Esophagus will lead to this small pear-shaped structure, which is called as the crop. It is called as the crop. Crop के बाद एक छोटा सा एरिया आता है, ये लास्ट वाला पार्ट फोरगट का, which is called as the gizzard. यहाँ पर the grinding of food occurs, and then the food enters the midgut. This greenish area which you see dotted area is the midgut. The midgut leading into the hindgut. So midgut is the area where digestion and absorption, majority of the digestion and absorption occurs in the midgut. Now, if you can see at the junction of midgut and hindgut, can you see this purple-like structure, which are nothing but the malphigian tubules? I think we made a mention of that last time. Right? Last time mentioned किया था हम लोग ने कि malphigian tubules का position क्या है? The position of malphigian tubules is at the junction of midgut and hindgut, around 150-200 of them. Okay. So let's just take up foregut, midgut, and hindgut separately. Now, this is a small chart of the digestive system, alimentary canal, and the digestive glands. As I said, alimentary canal has got foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Foregut starts with the preoral cavity, right? Now, mouth ke pehle preoral cavity. Mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, and gizzard, followed by midgut. Midgut followed by hindgut. Hindgut has 3 parts: ileum, colon, rectum. The terminology for the parts are very strikingly similar to what we have. Now, the glands which are associated with them are the salivary glands. Brief mention kiya tha humne, the opening of the salivary glands on the hypopharynx, tongue-like structure. They receive the saliva. We have the hepatic CK or the hepatic glands. Can you see one small outgrowth at the junction of foregut and midgut? ये छोटा सा वाला part दिख रहा है? This is nothing but the hepatic CK. So the position of hepatic CK is at the junction of foregut, midgut. Okay. And we have glands of mesenteron. The midgut is called mesenteron. The midgut is called as the mesenteron. Enteron is the enclosed area, right now. Even the small intestine in us is called as the enteron. The large intestine is called as the colon. Okay? So when there is inflammation of the enteron, it's called as gastroenteritis. Okay, so enteron का enteritis बनता है. ये middle part है, ये दोनों के बीच में है, mid part है, इसलिए इसका नाम mesenteron है. And as I told you, it's the major area where digestion and absorption. So some of the enzymes are coming from the lining of the midgut, which is nothing but the glands of mesenteron. ठीक है, बट लेकिन इसका मेंशन कहीं मिलता नहीं है अपने को. वी विल रेस्ट्रिक्ट ourselves to salivary glands and hepatic CK. Right? So this is in a nutshell the entire digestive system. थोड़ा सा बात करते हैं. ये नोट्स का डायग्राम है आपका. The foregut is also called as the stomatium. Stoma, is opening. Stomata. Stoma means opening. The stomatium. The hindgut is called as the proctadium. Procta means anus. The anus part is called as the procta. Right? So proctadium. The foregut has preoral cavity, mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard. Preoral cavity, space in front of the mouth. Mouth ke aage. Preoral. Hypopharynx will project in the preoral cavity. Mouth, small narrow opening surrounded by the mouth parts. What are the mouth parts? The labrum, labium, mandible, maxilla. Pharynx, short funnel-like part lying in the head region, leads to esophagus. Esophagus will pass through neck and open into a sac-like structure called crop. Now, crop is large, highly distensible. If you have a look at this diagram, which is given in the notes, you can see this big pear-shaped structure labeled as crop. And even in the NCRT, if you see, the crop is shown quite properly made right now. So large, highly distensible, pear-shaped sac that stores food. The only function of the crop is to store food. From the crop, food enters into the gizzard. Now, gizzard जो है, ये छोटा वाला पार्ट है. ये देखो, ये वाला पार्ट, ये जो देखा छोटा सा रेड पार्ट है, ये वाला लास्ट, वो gizzard है. यहाँ पर भी if you see this smallish area here is called as the gizzard here. Okay. Now, this is the cross section of the alimentary canal passing through the gizzard. So it allows us to see what the gizzard looks like. I have taken this image specially from a very, very rare book, which is not really easily available. It is called as the government textbook. बराबर ना, जो हम लोग कभी देखते नहीं है. Okay. So this was there in one of the government textbooks. I just borrowed it from there. Gizzard is also called proventriculus. Now, even the NCRT mentions the alternative name of gizzard as proventriculus, but not the reason why it is done so. क्योंकि midgut जो है, see, gizzard के immediately बाद midgut start होता है. Midgut mainly stomach है. Stomach को ventriculus बोलते हैं. So ventriculus के जो पहले वाला part है, first part is called as proventriculus. Because it is before the stomach, the gizzard is called as the proventriculus. Now, the gizzard is provided with a circlet of 6 chitinous teeth that help to crush the food. Now, you can just have a look here. Ye dekho. Look at the gray structure. Can you see the gray V-shaped gray structure? Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you see that in a circlet? So as the food passes through the center here, all the 6 will, झपटेंगे उसके ऊपर एकदम, to crush and grind them. Okay. So, and if you see the teeth, when you go backwards, it leaves to these grooves and bristles, they are present here. So all these help the gizzard to grind and strain the food. It's not only a grinding, but a straining part also. They are interconnected with each other. If you can see the connections, from here it will go to this structure, from here it will go to the next structure. All these 6 are interconnected to each other, right? Gizzard is marking the end of the foregut. Gizzard में NCRT के हिसाब से 2 point important है. एक, it is called proventriculus, number 1. Second, 6 teeth. This is the second point which is important for gizzard. तो ये हो गया foregut. Midgut is mesenteron, right? Now we mentioned that foregut यहाँ पे खत्म हो रहा है gizzard पे, यहाँ से midgut यानी mesenteron start हो रहा है. दोनों के junction पे we have hepatic CK, 6 to 8 hepatic CK, right? They are thin, transparent, blind tubules. Last time malphizian tubules पढ़ा था हमने, वो भी पढ़ा था blind. एक end open है, एक end closed है, तो उसको हम लोग blind बोलेंगे, right? They secrete digestive enzymes. Ventriculus or stomach is a short, narrow tube of uniform diameter concerned with digestion. Midgut is the major area of digestion and absorption. The last part is the hindgut. I told you hindgut is also called as the proctadium. I told you the anal part is referred as the procta. slightly broader than the midgut. At the junction with the midgut, there are about 150 200 yellow thread-like blind malphizian tubules which are excretory in nature. They will remove excretory products from hemolymph. Their product is poured into the ileum. I think we spoke about the malphizian tubules very well about in that last session. Okay. Ileum, colon, rectum. Rectum is the last part of the hindgut. Rectum opens to the outside by the anus, which lies below the 10th terga. Right now, मैं जब भी थोड़ी चीजें स्लो पढ़ूंगा तो समझ जाना कि ये थोड़ा डेंजर एरिया है, हाँ, क्योंकि the position of the organs with respect to the segment and the terga and the sterna is important here, right? The relative position, right? कि कौन सा organ, कौन सा structure, कौन से sterna या terga के पास located है, it is important, and it is very easy for an examiner to trap them here. So when you study, the relative positions have a lot of clarity when you study, right? I will help you to give you certain points to make you imagine the relative position. अब बताओ मुझे ये terga है तो the position is going to be dorsal or ventral? It's going to be dorsal. Terga dorsal है, मतलब the anus, wherever in the pouch it is lying, it is towards the dorsal side near the terga. Okay, so that leads us to thinking that अगर वही एरिया में एनस अगर डॉर्सल है तो कोई चीज वहां पे वेंट्रल भी होनी चाहिए. We'll come to that. What is the ventral part? Okay, so 10th terga के बिल्कुल नीचे is located the anus of the cockroach. ठीक है, so we started from the foregut, we have the midgut and the hindgut. Right, so this is the entire alimentary canal of the cockroach, starting from the mouth, ending up to the anus. The second are the associated glands, right? Associated glands. Now, the associated glands, I highlighted 3 glands from you, but we will study only one, which is salivary glands. Now, nothing of the salivary gland is mentioned in the NCERT, but these people have made sure that you do have an image of the ये रहा, ये रहा. Can you see the salivary gland here? Right. Now this is a pair of salivary glands, 2 of them. Be a little careful about this, please. Can you see these 2 leafy structures? दिख रहा है? That is labeled as the gland, and this solid structure has been labeled as a salivary reservoir. So one reservoir and 2 parts, these 2 leafy structures, will make up one whole salivary gland. So यहाँ पर एक है, यहाँ पर एक. That's why we say it has a pair of salivary glands. Right? These are actually lobes. This leafy part is actually the lobe of the salivary gland. Right? So ये total salivary gland हो जाएगा. लेकिन label करते वक्त इस part को label किया गया salivary gland. Right? So I just wanted to point that out from the NCERT. From the PPT, ये देखो. This is how the salivary gland looks like. Can you see those 2 leafy parts, one reservoir, please, everybody? Yes. So 2 salivary glands, one on each side of the crop. The position is, it lies on either side of the crop. Each gland has 2 glandular lobes. So these leafy structures are the lobes, and a receptacle or the reservoir. The yellowish solid area is the receptacle or the reservoir where the saliva is stored. Glandular lobes consist of several irregular white colored lobes. You can see there's very irregular, there's no regularity, which are provided with collecting ducts, and they secrete saliva. The 2 ducts, dono will form the salivary duct. Dono area का salivary duct will form a common salivary duct. Salivary duct का position किधर है? Crop के पास है. Salivary duct का position किधर है? Crop के पास है. मैं crop पे लेके जाऊं तुमको वापस. ये देखो, crop ये वाला area है. मतलब somewhere here is the salivary duct. तो यहाँ से duct will run below the esophagus. यहाँ से duct काफी लंबा हो जाएगा फिर salivary duct, and it will come right up to the hypopharynx. समझ आ रहा है? Where is the salivary duct opening? On the hypopharynx. So when the mandible is crushing, ध्यान देना सो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं प्लीज. मैंडिबल क्रश कर रहा है तो हाइपोफैरिंक्स से सलाइवा आएगा फॉर द फर्स्ट स्टेज ऑफ डाइजेशन. इज इट समथिंग लाइक व्हाट वी हैव? टीथ आर क्रशिंग द फूड, सलाइवा इज बीइंग सिक्रीटेड, सो बोलस टाइप बन जाएगा अभी, and the bolus is then pushed into the oropharynx, esophagus down now. अब यही bolus यहां पे आएगा when it comes in the gizzard. Is gizzard performing the second role of crushing now? Right? Don't we have the second churning of food in the stomach now? Churning होता है ना stomach में. सिर्फ stomach के wall के अंदर there are 3 layers of muscles, longitudinal, oblique and circular. Remember that. बाकी पूरे सिस्टम में you have only 2 muscles. Only stomach has 3 because stomach has to do churning, the second stage of breaking down. Okay, so यहाँ पर the second stage of breaking down happens in the gizzard. I hope the comparison is understood properly, please. Okay, salivary glands open by the common salivary duct into the preoral cavity, which is on the hypopharynx. Saliva contains amylase, chitinase, and cellulase. Right now, so these are the enzymes. Chitinase, not in all species of cockroach, but some of them. Chitinase will digest chitin. Remember I told you some of the species of cockroach are cannibals. हाँ, ये chitinase की वजह से. Okay, but unfortunately NCERT इसके बारे में कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है. ठीक है, so this is all about the digestive system of cockroach. Right, before I go to the reproductive system, any questions on digestive system, please, anybody? Yes, Shikha, bolo beta.
So the salivary duct is attached to the crop, but then it extends up to the mouth, right?
It goes below the esophagus, right up to the hypopharynx.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Ayushi?
So is chitinase present in non-cannibalistic cockroaches and has no role, or is it not present at all?
Depends, differs from species to species. They have made a very general mention of it, but as I told, there's no mention of that in the NCERT.
So then in general, how do you like differentiate between a cannibalistic and non-cannibalistic based on the
No, it will be from species to species better, right now? Not all species are, but they have been in general described as omnivorous, so that means they can eat everything.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Hetvi?
So is anus a part of the hindgut?
Anus, yeah, it ends at anus, no beta. Hindgut will ends at anus. So mouth to anus is the entire alimentary canal.
So it is a part of the hindgut.
It's a part of the hindgut, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Rectum will open into the anus. Okay. Clear, please, everybody? Can we go to the reproductive system, please? Yes? Okay. Now, the reproductive system demands a little bit of attention right now. Please, slightly, it has been given in a slightly complicated manner in the NCERT. So we'll have to do a little bit of mehnat, thoda sa yahan par. Actual. Cockroaches are dioecious. Obviously, sexes are separate. Where sexes are in one organism, you call the organism as a hermaphrodite. Like earthworm has both the sexes in one, so it's hermaphrodite. So that will be monoecious. Right? We have done monoecious, dioecious morphology. Bataya maine. Okay. Yahan pe the sexes are separate. Male and female are separate. It is sexual dimorphism. I think last DCD mein question bhi tha. Sexual dimorphism pe. Okay. And we have learned only one character to differentiate between the male and female up till now, and that has been the anal style. The male has got the anal style, while it is absent in case of the female. Now, both the sexes have well-developed reproductive organs. First, we'll talk about the male reproductive structure, and then we will talk about the female reproductive structure. Now, this is the diagram of the male reproductive structure in the NCERT. Right now, if I were to list the diagrams in NCERT, right, in order, कि जिससे मुझे डर लगता है, this is right at the top. This diagram is right at the top, because diagrams in the neat paper are not colorful. They are in black and white, right? और ये black and white में आ गया तो भैया ये पीछे brown है ना, पूरा black हो जाएगा, और ये जो लेबलिंग है ना वो दिखेंगे नहीं क्या पूछा है तुमको, तो बहुत थोड़ा गड़बड़ होता है. तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट यहाँ पर है कि जिस ऑर्डर में यहाँ पर लेबलिंग किया हुआ है ना, एटलीस्ट वो ऑर्डर मालूम होना चाहिए कि भाई आई विल गिव यू द हिंट्स हाउ टू रिकॉग्नाइज, but this diagram has to be done very, both male and female, very, very properly, right? If I am taking a test on cockroach with, so I am telling you I'll put this diagram, and वो भी black and white करके डालूंगा मैं. हाँ, जानबूझ के कलर नहीं डालूंगा, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट करके डालूंगा उसको मैं, और वो भी डार्क करूंगा एकदम, ठीक है ना? हाँ, एकदम बोल के, हाँ प्लीज. ओके, नाउ व्हाट आर द स्ट्रक्चर्स इन द मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम? We have the testes, a pair of testes in the 4th to the 6th. The range, the position can be from the 4th to the 6th, anywhere in between them. It is trilobed dorsolaterally below the terga. Terga है तो dorsal, right? Dorsolaterally मतलब midline नहीं है, midline से lateral side पे, दोनों sides पे है, right? When you look at the diagram a little closely, बहुत थोड़ा सा closely, one lobe, second lobe, third lobe, trilobed है, okay, and dorsolateral structure arrangement. Vas deferens arises from each testis, white thread-like tube which pass downwards and enters the seminal vesicles. Can I identify the vas deferens? Yes, which is coming from the testes going towards the seminal vesicles, right? Now, what is the seminal? I'm sorry, seminal. Ek minute, I'm sorry, very sorry. Sac-like structure which store the sperms. Sac-like structure which store the sperms. Now, interestingly, very, very interestingly, ये जो, अरे यार, सॉरी, ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है ना, यहाँ डायग्राम दिया हुआ है ना, सेमाइनल वेसिकल दिख ही नहीं रहा है, लेबल तो किया है उन्होंने. लुक एट दिस सेंट्रल स्ट्रक्चर लिटिल क्लोजली. ये जो सेंट्रल ऑरेंज कलर के स्ट्रक्चर्स है, यहाँ पे लेबल किया है स्मॉल टिब्यूल्स. स्मॉल टिब्यूल्स को जो सराउंड कर रहे हैं, ये वाला पार्ट, दैट हैज बीन लेबल्ड एज लॉन्ग टिब्यूल्स. क्लियरली दिख रहा है अपने को, स्मॉल टिब्यूल्स, लॉन्ग टिब्यूल्स. कैन यू सी प्लीज एवरीबॉडी? एंड उसके नीचे सेमाइनल वेसिकल. नाउ इट अपीयर्स एज इफ द लेबलिंग ऑफ द लॉन्ग टिब्यूल एंड सेमाइनल वेसिकल इज ऑन द सेम. दिख रहा है ना? इसको भी वही किया और इसको भी वही किया लोग, लेकिन सेमाइनल वेसिकल इसके पीछे है, राइट? What is happening is seminal vesicle के branching निकलते, right? So there is seminal vesicle का branching, then you have branching like long tubules and small tubules. The tubules of the small one, the tubules of the long one, plus the tubules of the seminal, ये तीनों के tubule बन के ये gland बनता है पूरा, which is the mushroom-like gland, which is called as the utricular gland, which is called as the utricular gland. ये देखो, formed by several tubules arising from seminal vesicles. So utricular gland is long tubules plus short tubules plus seminal vesicles. ये तीनों मिला के बनता है utricular gland. Now, they have not mentioned the word utricular gland as per se in the NCERT, but have referred it as to a mushroom-shaped or mushroom-looking gland. But it is the utricular gland. Okay. Now, we have two seminal vesicles, one on either side. The two seminal vesicles will form, right, will fuse to form the ejaculatory duct. To form the ejaculatory duct. ये देखो यहाँ पर. Can you see this duct has been labeled as the, ये जो जाड़ा वाला duct है, it has been labeled. Is it coming from behind the utricular? Are the seminal vesicles also behind the utricular, everybody? Isn't it? So, दोनों seminals are fusing to form the ejaculatory duct. Now, this ejaculatory duct, obviously ejaculatory duct will lead to the exterior. यहाँ से the sperms are supposed to be thrown outside the system. राइट ना. सो यहां पर कुछ भी लेबल नहीं किया हुआ है. यहां पर ये बेस में, ये बेस को जाके एक छोटा सा लेबलिंग करो, मेल जेनाइटल ओपनिंग. So the ejaculatory duct will end as the male genital opening, which is also called as the gonopore. Gonopore, P-O-R-E. Right? Elongated tube which opens through the male genital pore. So the ejaculatory duct will open through the male genital pore. Male genital pore between the 9th and the 10th abdominal segment ventrally. What is the position of the male genital pore? Ventrally. Anus क्या है? Dorsal. Male genital pore? Ventral. Yes, Dhairavi beta?
Sir, G-O-N-O, right?
G-O-N-O, gonopore. ठीक है? Now we come to one structure which is called as gonapophysis or phallomeres. Right? हम देखो sexual dimorphism की बात करते हैं. Right? We spoke about sexual dimorphism. Dhairavi, what is sexual dimorphism, beta?
When we can differentiate between the sexes.
Using morphological features. Using external, मतलब बाहर से ही मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि ये मेल या फीमेल है, उसको बोलते हैं सेक्सुअल डायमॉर्फिज्म. ठीक ना. हमने अभी तक सिर्फ एक ही कैरेक्टर यूज किया है, भी एनल स्टाइल, बराबर, एनल स्टाइल यूज किया है. अब ये दूसरा फीचर, द जेनाइटल ओपनिंग of the male and the female are surrounded by chitinous plates, and these plates are called as gonapophysis. So we have male gonapophysis and we have female gonapophysis. समझ में आ रहा है बराबर? Male gonapophysis are 3 and female gonapophysis are 3 pairs, 6. So with the help of gonapophysis also can we identify whether it's a male or a female cockroach, isn't it? Okay. ठीक है. Now क्या लिखा है देखो, male genital pores surrounded by chitinous hooks and plates called gonapophysis which help in copulation. Now coming to the diagram, coming to this diagram, right? If you have a separate colored pen or a pencil and you can make a box here, please see how many phallomeres are present in the male. Can you see? ये देखो, right phallomere, box बना लो यहाँ पे, ventral phallomere and left phallomere. So we have a ventral phallomere, a right phallomere, and a left phallomere. Right? Now, very difficult to identify the phallomeres in this diagram. So what I have done is I have brought this image particularly, which shows the 3 phallomeres separately. Okay. See, idea is not to teach you this diagram. Idea is to teach you with the help of this diagram, identify the structures here. So the diagram अपने को ये आएगा identify करने के लिए, नीट में ये वाला नहीं आएगा, लेकिन ये सिर्फ समझने के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं. The A वाला figure, ये वाला figure is the ventral phallomere. Can you see the ejaculatory duct? Ejaculatory duct opens as the gonopore. अभी धैर्य ने पूछा गोनोपोर, देखो धैर्य भी गोनोपोर, बराबर. हाँ, so the male genital opening is present on which phallomere? The ventral phallomere. ये डायग्राम ये देख लो. Look at this ejaculatory duct. I told you to mark male genital pore here. Look at this. Which is the phallomere present here now? Is it the ventral phallomere now? समझ रहा है प्लीज? The ventral phallomere पे कौन सा स्ट्रक्चर मिलेगा अपने को? We will find the male genital pore. The gonopore will be found on the ventral phallomere. Right? So if ventral phallomere अगर पूछा गया है और लाइन बराबर नहीं दिख रही है, right ना, तो whatever is opening on the ejaculatory duct, जहां भी open होता है, that structure has to be ventral phallomere. लुक एट दिस फैलोमियर। ये जो बी वाला पार्ट है इज द लेफ्ट फैलोमियर। कैन यू सी द लेफ्ट फैलोमियर हैज अ हुक लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, दिस एस्पिरेट लोब दिख रहा है। उसके बाद इट हैज गॉट अ blunt structure called as the pseudopenis, whereas again a hook like structure which is known as the titillator. ये देखो यहाँ पे, do you see a pseudopenis and a titillator? So where these two structures are present, that part is known as the left phallomere. आ रहा है आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए अपने को? Can I see titillator पे एक छोटा hook like structure दिख रहा है अपने को? Can I see the two other hook like structures here, which is the aspirate lobe? यहाँ पर दिख रहा है अपने को छोटा सा? Yes, please. I am just trying to correlate these two diagrams for you all to understand this diagram of cockroach properly, please. Look at the diagram C. Can you see diagram C is called as the right phallomere? Now, what is the most striking thing about the right phallomere is this serrated edge. Can you see a tooth-like edge here now? The same if I try to identify in this diagram. Can I see the serrated edge here? What is this structure labeled as? Right phallomere. So I should know how to identify the three phallomeres. Right now, so wherever the ejaculatory duct is ending, that will be the ventral phallomere. जहां serrated edges रहेंगे वो right phallomere, और जहां पे pseudopenis titillator रहेगा वो left phallomere. खत्म. The three phallomeres. Right. This diagram is purely for explanation, nothing else, please. So are these all structures clear to us, please? All these structures, please. Ab, coming to the spermatophore. Now sperms are bundled together. Right now sperms are not released separately. It is in the form of a bundle. Right now, this entire bundle of sperm is called as a spermatophore. अब ये sperm किधर बनेगा? टेस्टिस में बनेगा, वास डेफरेंस से नीचे आएगा, सेमाइनल वेसिकल में स्टोर होगा. निसर्ग, ओ बेटा निसर्ग, डायग्राम सीलिंग पे है बेटा.
No, my neck is paining.
Neck is paining. Okay, okay. ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay, no problem. Please be careful. Right now? Okay. So the sperms are manufactured in the testes. They will travel through the vas deferens, go through the seminal vesicles. मैंने क्या बोला? दो seminal vesicle fuse होके ejaculatory duct बनेगा और यहाँ पे आएंगे. Right now? So first, is it passing through the utricular gland? पहले seminal vesicle आएगा ना. vas deferens के immediately बाद क्या आ गया? seminal vesicle. So seminal vesicle का tubule, long tubule, short tubule, ये क्या हो गया? utricular gland हो गया completely. utricular gland का जो secretion है वो ये पूरे बंडल, sperm bundle के ऊपर एक लेयर बना देगा. ठीक है. Now this will pass through ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct will release a secretion जो उसके बाद second layer बनाएगा. Now a second layer now. One structure which has not been described in the NCERT but labeled. Can you see a small gland called as a phallic gland? दिख रहा है एकदम पीछे से phallic gland है ये, brown structure छोटा सा. Right? यहां पे लिखो ब्रैकेट में, phallic gland is also called as conglobate gland. CONGLO, conglobate, BATE. It is called as the conglobate gland. Okay. Now, when the sperms are released from the male genital pore, phallic gland अपना secretion उस पर डालेगा. तो अब सवाल ये है कि स्पर्मेटोफोर पे सबसे पहले सिक्रेशन किसने डाला? यूट्रिकल ग्लैंड डाला. तो वो सबसे इनरमोस्ट कवरिंग हो गया. उसके बाद द स्ट्रक्चर पासेस थ्रू इजैकुलेटरी, उसने सिक्रेशन डाला. तो दिस बिकम्स द सेकंड मिडिल कवरिंग नाउ. And last में who has given the secretion? Phallic gland. So phallic gland का secretion सबसे ऊपर वाला covering हो गया, right? So these are the coverings which are there present on the bundle of sperms. This collectively is called as spermatophore. So the male cockroach will release the entire bundle. ऐसे bundles release करेगा वो, which are having these 3 layer वाला covering. Clear, these all testes right up to the spermatophores, everybody. Now let's check the same from the NCERT, please. Okay, यहाँ पे आ गया. Cockroaches are dioecious. Both sexes are well developed reproductive organs. Male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, one lying each on lateral side in the 4th to the 6th abdominal segment. वैसी था बराबर, okay. From each testis will arise a thin vas deferens, okay, which opens in the ejaculatory duct through the seminal vesicle. मतलब seminal vesicle पहले आएगा, right? ना? So what will be the sequence? Testes, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, seminal vesicle, ejaculatory duct. बराबर ना? The ejaculatory duct opens into the male gonopore. The ejaculatory duct opens into the male gonopore. Right? Where is the male gonopore situated now? On the ventral phallomere. Why? Because it is ventrally situated here. Where is the male gonopore situated? Ventral to the anus. Remember, anus is dorsal. Right now, anus is dorsal. This is a ventral structure now. A characteristic mushroom-shaped gland. आ गया देखो तुम्हारा mushroom shape. What is this mushroom-shaped gland called as? Utricular gland. Right now, present in the 6th to 7th abdominal segment, it functions as an accessory reproductive gland. Even in human reproductive system, you have studied males के अंदर there are 3 accessory glands, ना? लेकिन इस seminal vesicle है, Cowper's gland, bulbourethral, और दूसरा कौन सा था तुम्हारा? Bulbous, Cowper's, prostate gland. ठीक है ना? So here also the mushroom utricular gland is acting like an accessory reproductive gland. The external genitalia are represented by male gonapophyses or phallomeres. Right? They are chitinous asymmetrical structures surrounded the male. यानी तीनों का स्ट्रक्चर अलग अलग है, समझ आए? तीनों का स्ट्रक्चर अलग अलग है, asymmetrical structures. So left phallomere, right phallomere, and ventral phallomere. Okay. Sperms are stored in the seminal vesicle and are glued together in form of bundles called spermatophores, which are discharged during copulation. So nothing of the 3 layered is mentioned here in the NCERT. Right now, so male वाला system यहाँ तक समझ में आया बराबर से सबको? हाँ, अब जाते हैं फीमेल सिस्टम पे. First from the PPT. Okay. Now, this is the diagram, which is the NCERT diagram, and this is a small gift from my side. Okay. To understand what is in the diagram, please. Okay. ठीक. Now, pair of ovaries in the female reproductive system lying laterally in the 2nd to 6th. So testes was in 4th to 6th, ovaries in 2nd to 6th. Each ovary is made up of 8 ovarioles, which has a broad base and a narrow end. ये NCERT वाला diagram है, right? Can you see ovary के अंदर? Can you see small lines? They are ovarioles, right? बदमाश लोग ने लेबल ही नहीं किया इसको. तो अपने नोट्स का डायग्राम देखो, Can you see those ovules here? Okay. Now, for your understanding, better understanding, I have got the diagram image of a single ovariole. अब ये सिंगल ओवेरियल में नीचे एक बेस है जिसको पेडिसेल बोलते हैं. This is the egg tube, and this is the terminal filament, narrow terminal filament. Okay. Now what is happening is ये जो ovarioles में जो पेडिसेल नहीं है, पेडिसेल ये यहां पे रहेगा, पेडिसेल सब पेडिसेल सारे फ्यूज हो जाते हैं और ऊपर जो टर्मिनल फिलामेंट है वो भी सारे फ्यूज हो जाएंगे ऊपर से. At this end, the fusion forms a passage which is called as oviduct. यानी 8 कितने हैं? 8 ovarioles है, तो 8 के पेडिसेल फ्यूज हो गए and they make a very thick structure which is called as the oviduct. Oviduct. So we'll have the right oviduct and the left oviduct. Look at this diagram, please. Can we identify the oviduct here, please? यहाँ पे भी एक ओविडक्ट है, यहाँ पे भी. बोनो फ्यूज होके ये नीचे वर्टिकल येलो स्ट्रक्चर बना रहे हैं, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं कॉमन ओविडक्ट और वजाइना. कॉमन ओविडक्ट और वजाइना. सो हाउ इज इट हैपनिंग? ईच ओवरी मेड अप ऑफ 8 ओवेरियोल्स. ओवेरियोल्स के जो बेस है वो सबका फ्यूज होके ओविडक्ट बनेगा. 2 ओविडक्ट बनेंगे, एक राइट एक लेफ्ट. दोनों ओविडक्ट्स फ्यूज हो गए और एक कॉमन ओविडक्ट बनेगा which will be also termed as vagina, right? And the vagina will open the genital chamber. Can you see this small cream colored dotted area? This is the genital chamber, right? So where is the vagina opening? Into the genital chamber. तो यहां पर eggs बनेंगे, female gametes. They'll be released coming into the oviduct. Oviduct से vagina से in the genital chamber here. ठीक है? Okay. Then we have spermathecae. Spermathecae. Pair again of unequal sized spermathecae in the 6th segment. Diagram. Can we see the structure? One structure which is quite inflated like that of a balloon, and one structure ekdam like a deflated balloon ekdam. Can I see these two structures very clearly? The right spermathecae and the left spermathecae. Now, out of these two, the right one is non-functional, and the left one is functional. It stores the sperms at the time of copulation. The left one. See, again, I'm warning you, when you have two things which are opposite in function, learn only one. So यहाँ पे you either go with the left or with the right. So either remember which is makes sense. You should remember the functional one. और एक तरीका इसको याद रखने के लिए, left one काम करता है, so you say the left is right. Right one काम नहीं करता, so the right one is wrong. Okay, so the right one is wrong. मतलब right one is not storing anything. So when the sperms are deposited in the genital chamber, they are carried to spermathecae. Spermathecae उसको store करेगा. The most common mistake which is made by student is while identifying spermathecae, right? Theca is a cavity. Theca बोलते हैं cavity को, right? जहाँ sperm store होते हैं. But just because the word sperm is there, many students, I'm not saying many of them, even good ones, sometimes identify spermathecae as a male reproductive system का part. ये गलती मत करना please. एक मिनट. Okay. So that is ovaries and spermathecae, please. नहीं, ये seminal vesicle गलती से आ गया, यहाँ पे gonapophysis होना चाहिए था. Cut, copy, paste error. 3 pairs of chitinous plates. आ गया, देखो बताया था मैंने. Male कितने gonapophysis है? 3. Female कितने हैं? 3 pairs. Right? Present around the genital aperture. right? Genital aperture is opening in the genital chamber. ये vagina ना? This is genital aperture, right? ना? Look at the spermathecae. Can you see spermathecae is also opening into the genital chamber? उसके पीछे oviduct और vagina is also opening into the genital chamber. तो अब तक genital chamber में कितने structures मिले अपने को? 2. Which all structures are opening in the genital chamber? Number 1 is the vagina and number 2 is the spermathecae. Look at this diagram. Can you see this gray color ka branching structure? Which is called as the collateral gland. Collateral gland. Right? Look at the collateral gland. Can you see that is also going towards the genital chamber? So genital chamber में कितने structures open up हो गए? 3. Vagina, यानी female gonopore vagina same हो गया. Second, spermathecae, and third, collateral gland. ठीक है. अब देखो यहाँ पे आओ, ये डायग्राम देखो, ये डायग्राम देखो. कैन यू सी ये जेनाइटल चेंबर है, ये जेनाइटल चेंबर है. कैन आई सी ओवरी हियर, ओवरी, ओवेरियल्स, ये रहा कॉमन ओविडक्ट, वजाइना. कैन यू सी वेयर वजाइना इज ओपनिंग ऑफ जेनिटल चेंबर? Look at the collateral glands. Can you see where the opening of collateral gland is? In the genital chamber, right? Look at spermathecae. Where is spermathecae opening up? Into the genital chamber. So 1, 2, 3. All these 3 structures opening up into the genital pouch or the genital chamber, please. Okay? Clear, please, everybody? Huh? Can we see it from the NCRT, the female part? The female system has 2 large ovaries lying laterally in the 2nd to the 6th abdominal segment. Each ovary is formed by a group of 8 ovarian tubules or ovarioles. 8 of them. Right. Containing a chain of developing ova. Oviducts of each ovary unite into a single median oviduct, also called vagina. What is the common oviduct also called? Vagina, which opens into the genital chamber. A pair of spermatheca is present in 6 segments, which also opens in the genital chamber. So, दो तो उन्होंने describe किया है what structures open into the genital chamber. Collateral glands को diagram में दिखाए लोग. Collateral glands has been shown in the diagram that it opens in the genital chamber only. Clear, please? The male and female system of cockroach, please. अब देखो, अब जो है ना, एक छोटा सा पैराग्राफ हम लोग ने छोड़ दिया था. अगर आपको याद होगा तो ये वाला पैराग्राफ छोड़ दिया था, इतना वाला पार्ट छोड़ दिया था हम लोग ने एब्डोमेन पढ़ते वक्त. मॉर्फोलॉजी किया था ना फर्स्ट लेक्चर में हमने, वहां पे एब्डोमेन में छोटा सा पार्ट छोड़ दिया था हमने. The abdomen in both males and females consists of 10 segments. In females, the 7th sterna is boat-shaped. The 7th sterna, ventral dorsal, ventral. And together with 8th and 9th sterna forms the genital pouch. So the genital pouch is formed by the fusion of 7th, 8th and 9th sterna. 7th, 8th and 9th sterna, whose anterior part contains. Genital pouch के anterior part में क्या क्या है देखो, female gonopore आ गया, opening of vagina. Second, spermathecal openings, and third, collateral glands. ठीक है, आ गए तीनों structure which opens into the genital pouch, please. In males, the genital pouch or chamber lies in the hind end of abdomen, bounded dorsally by ninth and 10th terga, upper, and ventrally by the ninth sterna. What is present near the 10th terga, just below the 10th terga? Anus. Okay, it contains dorsal anus, ventral male genital pore, and gonapophysis. Right, so this is covered from the NCRT. The last part is the development. Sperms are transferred through spermatophores. I have explained what are spermatophores already, please. Their fertilized eggs are encased in capsule called ootheca. देखो होता क्या है अभी, ये देखो प्लीज, ये वाला डायग्राम इंपॉर्टेंट है. See, eggs are deposited here. ये फीमेल का सिस्टम है. Eggs are deposited in the genital pouch. यहां से eggs will go into the spermatheca. What is the role of spermatheca? Storage of sperms. It stores sperms. अब spermatheca के अंदर ऊपर का 3 layers are removed. Right? One of these layers is excretory product. अपने को नहीं आता uricose glands and all that. Right? So one of them is an excretory product. तो वहां से निकल जाएगा वो. यहां से ovaries, यानी eggs will come from here, from the ovaries. So यहां पर आ गया तुम्हारा egg. जैसे ही egg आ गया, यहां से sperms निकल के आ गया बाहर. And immediate fertilization happens here. Now, the fertilized, see the second structure, collateral gland. ये second helper है अभी. The fertilized structure के ऊपर you will have the secretion of collateral gland. अब ये पूरा एक hard case बन जाएगा, which is called as the ootheca. Egg chamber करके, ootheca. ठीक है ना? So the covering of the ootheca is nothing but the secretion of collateral gland. That is the function of collateral gland. So fertilized eggs are encased in capsule called ootheca. We saw just how ootheca is made, right? Ootheca is made by secretion of the collateral gland. Within ootheca, development takes a month to complete, and after that, young ones, the nymph stage, right? The young one of a cockroach is called as the nymph. The cuticle is cast off periodically called ecdysis or molting. Now, as the cockroach starts to grow, उसका covering chitin का है. तो चिटिन हार्ड कवरिंग है, तो वो उसको फिजिकली ग्रो नहीं होने देता. राइट ना, उसको हाथ पैर उसको हिलाने का है, लेकिन वो चिटिन की वजह से हिला नहीं पाता. इट नॉट ग्रो. सो फॉर इट टू ग्रो, द चिटिन कवरिंग हैज टू कम आउट. So chitin covering will get lost, it will grow and again be covered by chitin. It will happen 13 times in the life cycle of cockroach. And that process is called as molting. That process is called as molting. Right, so this is ecdysis or molting here, removal of that. On an average, females are producing 9 to 10 oothecae containing 14 to 16 eggs here. Right, the development is porometabolous. Porometabolous means there is gradual development. Stage by stage development is there in Periplaneta americana. Right, the young one is called as the nymph. The young one of the cockroach is called as the nymph. Right, and it is the nymph which slowly gradually develops. Okay, so the nymph look very much like adults. इसका मतलब डेवलपमेंट इज अ डायरेक्ट डेवलपमेंट. मैंने पहले एक बार बताया शायद कि डेवलपमेंट 2 टाइप के होते हैं, एक डायरेक्ट और एक इनडायरेक्ट. जब लार्वल स्टेज से होके ग्रो होता है ना, तो इट इज नॉट रिजेंबलिंग लाइक द अडल्ट. लाइक फ्रॉग में एग, लार्वा, टैडपोल, अडल्ट. सो इट इज नॉट लाइक द अडल्ट. कुछ अलग ही शेप होता है उसका, तो उसको हम लोग इनडायरेक्ट डेवलपमेंट बोलते हैं. और जब यंग वन इज लाइक द अडल्ट, इसको बोलते हैं डायरेक्ट डेवलपमेंट. सो द निम्फ is like the adult, so it's a direct development. The nymph grows by molting about 13 times to reach the adult form. I told you what is molting: removal and again recasting of the chitin. The next to last stage has wing pads. The next to last come the second last, the 12th stage has got wing pads, but only adults will have wings. So even the second last stage is not able to fly. Only the last stage is able to fly. Right? That is the description of the entire reproductive system. Right? Now the male, female, correspondingly with the diagrams I have given you all, please.